Dr. Rob Bell is a sports psychologist. He's worked with winners on the PGA Tour, nationwide tours. He's the author of 2 books, including Mental Toughness, Training for Golf, and his latest book, The Hinge, The Importance of Mental Toughness. If you haven't picked up this book, it's a really great read, lots of really great stories, and I really loved the book. He has been featured in Runner's World, New York Times, and Stacked Magazine. Rob has also had 2 near-death accidents. He had a car accident and falling off a cliff. We made sure the stage is low for you today, so you're going to be okay. He's got 2 children. He's married, runs marathons, and a swimmer, and he's had 1 hole-in-one. So give Mr. Rob Bell, Dr. Rob Bell, a big round of applause. Thanks, brother. There you go.
Chris Reed, everybody. Chris Reed. In 2006, I was caddying my first event on tour. And, you know, I just had my doctorate at the University of Tennessee. I've been working in sports psychology. I've been working with golfers. And I started working with this golfer that week, and he asked me to caddy for him. I'm like, all right. And to tell you what, he plays really well. 4-day tournament. On the second day, we're walking up to the 9th green, and he's playing so well that he's actually in first place. The board is up there, and it says Christian, 6 under par. And I kind of got caught up in the moment because I really thought that name said Bell, 6 under par. I'm thinking, hey, I'm the best sports psychologist that there is. This caddying is a piece of cake. Tiger Woods is going to be calling me up after this tournament's over. Let's just win this and let's go. That's it. It's a piece of cake. Go up on the 9th green, and like I get caught up in the moment. Like I see some people I know in the crowd. I'm kind of double shotgunning some people. I'm like, yeah. He tosses me the ball, and I grab it, and I reach down, and I'm cleaning the ball. And the ball drops in the bag. I reach out, and I give him the ball. I'm like, here you go, pro. He makes the putt. I'm like, yeah, this is nice. We walk on to the 10th tee box, but before we get there, I had a feeling of dread that came over top of me. And I said, Gary, I said, that was a Callaway 2 blue circle, right? And he's like, why would you ask me that? And he looks at the ball. It's a Callaway 4 blue circle. So in my haste, I had handed him the wrong ball. Now, the rules of golf are very specific. You have to start and end each hole with the same exact ball. The rules of golf always say that you call all fouls on yourself. So we called the rules official over, 2-shot penalty. Now, I have made mistakes before in my life, but I have never felt as small as I did at that moment. Like I have made errors in baseball to lose baseball. I felt as small as I did. And he doesn't say anything to me for the next 3 holes. Imagine the evil thoughts that are going through my head. And he doesn't say anything to me. And on the 4th hole, he stops me and looks in the eye and says, Rob, he says, either you don't believe this stuff that you teach or you can't do it, but I need you. And I said, okay, Gary. I said, I can act as if. I said, I'm in. I said, you know, I can fake it till I make it. And this is what taught me, I think, the #1 rule when it comes to caddying, how caddying on tour is just like life. Everybody give me 15 seconds, your undivided attention. Okay, ready? Go. We have to respond, not react. If Gary would have reacted, the natural reaction was set the bag down because you're fired. But he didn't. He took 45 minutes to collect his thoughts and then tell me and teach me on what I needed to do to get back in the game. And that's what we need to do in life. I think our reaction is full of emotion, it's full of piss and vinegar and anger, and our reaction is usually never right. But if we respond, we take a deep breath, we respond, it's usually going to be right. Our response is better than our reaction. Okay, space back out. So I've caddied on tour since 2006. I'll caddy about 4 or 5 events per year for my golfers. And I'll tell you what, it's an awesome office. It's a great office. So people ask, like, are those bags heavy? And I'll be honest, they're not heavy at all when we shoot 66. And that's the mentality. We shot 66, he shot 74. Is this thing on? Yeah. Okay. So what I've really discovered, how caddying on tour is just like caddying in life, is we need to help others reach their goals. I'm a firm believer that givers gain. And that when we help others reach their goals, we reach ours. So let me ask you a question. Whose name is on the bag? Because their name is on the bag for a reason. But let's say your name's on the bag. Let's say it's your corporation, it's your business, it's your organization that you're in charge of. All the more reason to help others get to where they want to go. So what I wanted to share is 3 things that I think are really important, how caddying on tour is just like caddying in life. And number 1 is this: we quit. Golfers on tour, they quit. Now, when are they going to quit? They're never going to quit when they have a chance for a top 10 finish. They're never going to quit when they have a chance to win. They're never going to go through the motions there. No, when they quit, when they go through the motions is in practice, when they say, you know what, this shot really doesn't matter. But they'll also quit when the best they can hope for is a 50-place finish. What's going to be the difference from 5 or 10 grand? Doesn't matter physically and doesn't matter financially. When do we quit in life? What I've discovered is this, is that we quit when we are not put in situations where we can win. When we say to ourselves, that job, it really doesn't matter. That individual, it doesn't matter. And you know what? They're right. Physically or financially, it really doesn't matter. But here's the importance about quitting, is when we quit, it makes quitting easier later on. It allows us to quit later on. We've now given ourselves an option. That's the importance of always putting forth 100% effort on each and every shot, each and every person that we meet, because we never know. Now, what do I do on tour is this: I've got to take all the focus away from the outcome and focus on the process, on the here and now. Hey, let's just get one birdie. Let's just finish strong here. Hey, let's just have fun. What do we do in real life? Same thing. We've got to put people in situations where we can win and to focus on the process. Second thing, what I think is really important about how caddying is just like life is this, is caddying is all about timing. Now, I'm a good caddy. I'm not a great caddy, obviously. So I'm a good caddy. So let me give you 2 scenarios. Here's the first one. What do you think the feedback is between a player and a caddy? Do you think it's like this? Hey, just trust yourself, man. Be confident. I believe in you. Go get it, big guy. Or do you think it's like this? All right, you've got 155 to the front. You've got 163 to the hole. The pin's going to be a little bit on the left, so I want you to hit that tight draw you've been hitting, but your target's still going to be the center of the green because it's going to filter on down there. Now, the wind's a little bit into, a little bit right to left. I like that 7-iron. You like that 7? Yeah, good full 7. You've got it. Now, here's the rub. It could be either way. Depends on what type of player that we're with. Some people like the motivation and I believe in you. The others, man, we need to instruct them and help them along the way. Here's the one thing that I've really discovered to be true, is that they're only going to remember the very last thing that they hear. My player is only going to remember the very last thing I say. So if I pick up the bag and I'm like, man, trust it. Hey, don't be long. What do you think's in his head? The only thing he's thinking about is don't be long. So he's either going to be long or he's going to be really short. They're only going to remember the very last thing that they hear. The importance, man, caddying is all about time, and it's all about saying the right thing at the right moment. Caddying is just like AA. It's just like AA. Because the caddy-athlete relationship, it's all based on trust. It's all based on confidence, and it's all based on confidentiality. Knowing whatever that player says to the caddy's got to stay between the player and the caddy. Now, the thing that I've discovered is this, is caddies, when that established relationship isn't there, they become fearful about getting fired. And I've been fired, and it's not any fun. So what happens is when they're fearful about being fired, they don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to make any mistakes. It's like, yeah, I believe in you, just go do it. And we become sycophants. We become yes men. Afraid of making any mistakes at all, that the biggest mistake is we're making is just in agreement all the time. Afraid to be honest with them. How is that just like life? Because the one thing I have discovered is this, is people don't care. People don't care. You know what they don't care about? They don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. You've heard that before, and it's completely honest. Because if we put people in situations where they're afraid to, where they can make mistakes, they're allowed to make mistakes, they're encouraged to be honest, they're put in situations where they can win. That's where they're going to perform the best. I've really discovered that, and I believe it. Man, can we create that environment of honesty, confidentiality, and trust where then we can make mistakes, and it's okay, it's encouraged. That's a good environment. And now people ask all the time then, they'll say, hey, how did you finish that tournament? Well, to be honest, we finished second that week by 3 shots. So the 2-shot penalty was right. It didn't matter. My name is Dr. Rob Bell, and what I tell them is like we're not only working on our game, we're working on ourselves. Thank you all very much.